So my next guest is Jeff Peabody. He's the VP and Managing Director of Critical Manufacturing in the Americas. Welcome, Jeff. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Trevor.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about how critical manufacturing fits in, first of all, to the ASMPT group, because you're wholly owned by ASMPT, and you manufacture MES systems. So how do you integrate, for example, with ASM Works?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So some years ago, ASMPT realized the value of software, and they started building out their own suite of products, which is basically line-level software. And in 2018, they felt the need to expand that, and they actually acquired us in 2018. So we are fully owned by ASMPT. But at the same time, we're our own entity, and we are our own structure. And there's, we work with their software, but we do have to be agnostic to some degree. We've been doing MES for a long time. Right. But to your question, ASM's developed a really nice suite of line-level software that does a lot of analysis and things like that at the line level. And really, what the intention was with critical manufacturing was to have a software solution that did not just address what was going on at the SMT line level, but many of the customers have box build and things like that. That's untouched by that line level software. And critical manufacturing's MES really is meant to address the full value stream from order placement to
final box
shipping.
Shipping. Okay. Interesting. So you cover the areas outside of the process areas that are monitored by the ASM Works, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah. And presumably when you go into a factory that's got maybe even part ASM equipment and the rest are other vendors, you would pull off the information that's available from their systems and make that integrate into your MES.
Right, that's exactly right. You know, people use a variety of equipment out there. ASM doesn't provide everything, so we do have to have interfaces with a lot of different equipment types. That's we've got an equipment integration module as part of our MES, and really even within the same line, you've got different equipment speaking different languages or using different communication protocols, and across lines you may have differences. So one of the functions of this equipment integration module is to standardize the messages, the different messages, and make that a common MES message.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I believe you've had some recently expanded your system to be able to cover multiple sites. Can you talk a little bit about that?
You know, that's a big thing right now. That's a big topic for critical manufacturing right now, because so many companies have expanded. They've acquired other companies, and they end up with different ERP systems, different MES systems if they have an MES system, and there's a huge need to standardize. And so we see a lot of companies right now initiating that process. So they've got multiple sites and they're trying to tie all this together. And from a couple of perspectives, number one, you need an MES solution that's able to look at the different sites, right? You can have a centralized location that you can view information on all the sites, but also be able to drill down into the individual sites. And of course, site to site, because they were acquisitions or built during different generations, they have different equipment, like you mentioned, different processes. So you run into challenges where maybe the adaptations of an MES that you do for one site may need to be different than the adaptations to that MES that you do to the other site.
Right.
So this whole concept of having a single MES but different flavors depending on what the site's doing, that has to be managed. And we'll typically recommend to our customers and coach them to set up a center of excellence where they've got kind of a mother MES, and from there they're managing, the versions that are actually going into the different facilities.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So at that central hub, then, I mean, are you pulling together all the data off the different machines and being able to map different trends and performance characteristics.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Why is one facility that's very similar to another facility, why is it performing differently? And you're able to see that at this macro level, but then also drill down into the micro level to chase things down. Yeah,
that's incredible. I mean, there's so many things can affect the manufacturing process. I mean, humidity, temperature.
Exactly. Yeah. Regional differences.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very true. So being able to track that.
That's important.
Yeah.
Great. So where are you going next? What's the next target?
That's an excellent question. So certainly this multi-site strategy is one of the initiatives that we've been pushing and developing lately. The other one is in the whole digital transformation story. As you go through this, your first step is to implement connect and collect is what they say. So connecting to equipment, collecting data either from equipment or manually, and then track and trace. So providing visibility into that. But the next step after that is analytics. And that's where our focus is right now. So we've got a very stable MES. We've got a lot of customers using it. And so now we're really focusing on this analytics side of this as the next step with a data platform.
To turn this rich data set into something that's actionable.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise it just looks like a bunch of numbers,
right.
And that's tricky. Some of this equipment produces huge amounts of data. So being able to go through that and determine what's valuable and what's not, that's analytics. And then, even going beyond that, the next step in this digital transformation is to go to predictive analysis. So, and people throw that word around, like it's pretty easy to do, but really you need all this data to be able to fingerprint things that are going to result in an issue or an equipment going down or a problem, and so it's fairly intensive, right? And it is really an analytical question. So that's where we're heading: analytics and then predictive.
And then predictive. I mean, again, the end result is to minimize machine downtime
minimize machine downtime, improve quality, and it's interesting. We're coming to a time where companies who are not automating and increasing efficiencies are not going to survive. They just can't keep up with their competitors that are doing that.
It's very true, and I actually worry for some of the smaller companies in this industry.
Yep. That's very true.
Anyway, Jeff, I want to thank you for coming in today and giving us an update on what things are happening at Critical Manufacturing. And we'll look forward to catching up with you again, probably in another few months' time.
Absolutely.
To see what other improvements have happened at Critical.
We look forward to it, Trevor. It's always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you for having us.
That's great. Thank you.
At Kaizen, we know it's the science that makes the difference. The right solutions happen when you care enough to ask the right questions. And we understand that your performance is directly related to ours. Science knows why it works, care knows why it's important.